Good evening and welcome to the UBPLSO YouTube channel. I'm Bubba. I guess I started the UBPLSO, the United Brotherhood of Psychedelic Light Show Operators. I guess I'm the person who's like starting this thing. But the whole deal is that I want to have a place where on the internet that is freely accessible, that is easy to access on cell phones or computers or anything in between. And I want to talk about light show hippie shit and present my art and the art of others. For now, it's just going to be mine because I'm starting this channel in the midst of that global pandemic thing that is defining 2020 and the rest of our lives. And yes, so this is what I do. Anyways, what you're seeing right now is me. I'm Bubba. And these are the machines that make up the rest of the Juggable Offense Electrosexual Light Show video gang. And the first light show gang to be admitted into the UBPLSO because I said so. And number two, our first actual recruits, the Macrodose Boys from New York City. Big love to them. Anyways, back on topic. So to start things off, I wanted to do a little intro to my rig, which is going to be heavily featured on this channel. And as such, I figured it would be useful to have one video that I can refer back to that is like the rig rundown. So anyways, to that end, I'll start right here. And I'm monitoring on a projector that is over there. So when you see me look over there, it's because I want to make sure that things look somewhat right. As you can tell, I don't actually want to make well-produced YouTube videos. I want to make YouTube videos that look cool as heckles. So that's what we're doing. To start with, and this is the thing that is kind of the basis of all of the video art stuff that I do, it is the LZX Vidiot, and we'll mix that in. So right now it's doing this thing. I really like this kind of stuff. I use the Vidiot mostly to create these generative, like, sort of repetitive, sort of not chaotic images, and mostly I use them to feed the erogenous tone structure, which we'll talk about in a minute. And oftentimes I'll use the colorized output of the Vidiot and lay it underneath, mix it in a little bit underneath another video source to give it a little bit of color and some texture. So we'll go from like this to a little bit of this, and if I want a lot of that stuff, a lot of that texture, I'll bring it more to this side. So there's really not a ton of stuff that I'm going to go into on each of these things right now because they're all going to end up being subjects of their own videos. But the hit points I want to make is that right now is that I use very little modular audio gear or otherwise with my Vidiot because the Vidiot is great on its own and it is the most powerful standalone single piece of analog video gear maybe ever made, and is definitely the most accessible. So I use I FM one of the oscillators in the Vidiot with something most of the time just to spice up the shapes. And to do that, right now I have this MXR blue box, which is patched into an audio feedback loop thing in the modular, and then going out to the FM input on one of the oscillators on the Vidiot, and that's what's given us that thing. And so there's that, and then I mix a couple of sources with an STG Soundlabs .mix mixer and run that back in, and that allows me to make my shapes that are creating sort of the seed for that feedback image that's going on the screen. It allows me to control the size of those images and control them a little bit better. So yeah, that's the quick version of the Vidiot. By the way, before we move on, I want to give a big special shout out to Sam and Art Lavender. This video is for you boys. I've owed you this for a very long time because I stole a meme from your dad. Don't steal. If you do steal, be ready to do things like this in a timely fashion. Don't be like me. Keep practicing, and I can't wait to jam with you guys someday soon. Okay, so moving on. Now that I've gotten that very important bit out of the way, we're going to go into the erogenous tone structure. And so what you're seeing right now, and this is a different kind of image, so I'm just going to go over to it, or mostly over to it, and I'm going to key myself in in a second here. There we go. There's something to work with. Um, so anyways, the structure is something that I've recently been started working with, and it is obscenely powerful. It is the most powerful single piece of synthesizer gear that I think I've ever personally owned and done anything worth paying attention to with. And so the structure does a billion things, and it will. I will never find everything that it does. But one of the things that it does that I think is super dope, which is what you're seeing right now, is we're taking video in from the camera that is also showing you my face, and we're taking that video and we're doing raster processing to it. Right now, it's being moved around on the screen by a couple of STG Sound Labs oscillators. By the way, I work for STG Sound Labs. I am the Minister of Hype for STG Sound Labs. I will often talk about STG gear in very hyperbolic fashion. I just want to let everybody know that I've been doing that shit for 10 years. Ever since I met Suit, I've only worked for him for 2. So, you know, if you want to ignore my recommendations to buy the best synthesizers ever made in Illinois, in the Midwest, and maybe all of human history, I don't know. That seems a little far for even me to say. But if you don't want to buy really cool synthesizers on my recommendation, that's fine. That's totally cool. It's totally cool, man. I respect that choice, even if it isn't the right one. Anyways, so yeah, I use STG. I'm using a couple of STG.VCOs to do some modulation right now, and I'm also controlling the structure with the Sensel Morph with the Buchla Thunder overlay. And right now, I've got it patched up to do some basic stuff. We're moving around the. This is an XY pad controlling the X and Y position of the image, and I'll move it back to the center so you can kind of see that happening. And so we do this kind of thing, which is a lot of fun. And we've got this pre-rotation, which is on a slider. And I've also got this effect, which does some cool stuff as we rotate the image. And then we can also change the position of the affected image using this pad. There's a million things that the structure can do, and even more of them with the morph. Hey, look, you can kind of see my hands there. That's cool. Even more that you can do with the structure, you know, as it is stock, because of using a controller like the Sensel, which I will be going over in other videos, standalone videos, and kind of all the time. So the Vidiot, and normally I should say, normally I take the direct camera out of the Vidiot and run it into structure. So normally I wouldn't be so vain as to point a camera at myself and expect people to think that me doing this kind of thing is really, really compelling for them to watch in the course of like seeing a show or whatever it is I'm going to do for visuals. But I've been playing around with having the camera, so that's what we're going to go with right now. So moving over here, I've got 2 video mixers and a little video processor. This is a radio. We'll talk about the radio another time. So the first video mixer I'll go through is the Panasonic WJ-MX12, which is amazing. I think this is my favorite of the Panasonic mixers. It's got a ton of really useful things that I will go over in individual videos. But the output of the structure goes into one channel on this. It's a 2-channel video mixer, and the second channel is a feedback loop with the mixer, and the feedback, it goes out into an Archer Super Video processor that I picked up in a flea market in Metro Detroit for $5. And it's amazing. It is one of the most useful tools that I've ever had as an artist. And so to show you what all that looks like, so you can see there's the structure, and as I move it around, we get different things. And I'll make this image a little bit better for doing this kind of stuff. Make it a little bit more obvious what's going on. And so, oh yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we get those nice little rainbows. I call those Jarnowian rainbows because my friend Jesse Jarnow really likes those, and I really like Jesse Jarnow, and I like to think about him when I'm doing art because he's great. So those are the Jarnowian rainbows, and they are lovely. Lots and lots and lots of fun. So that's the MX12 is something that I use very, very extensively for performance and for conscious animation, performed animation. I do this thing a lot where I grab this fader that I'm grabbing is it's a master level fade control, and you can set it up to control different things. You can set it up to control just the video or a title effect or the level of the title, and you could also set it up to control audio. I mostly use it to control the video level because with the feedback loop, you can actually reseed the feedback loop and control kind of your gain, and so you can get these like sort of more subtle things that have range where like, okay, cool, it's calm, it's calm, it's calm. We're gonna go nuts, and then you could do that kind of thing. I really hope that my faith in this device is warranted and is not going to be this never dies on me in like in an inconvenient sort of way. But I try to be careful with it, but I also crab scratch with it while I'm dancing super hard to Grateful Dead music at shows. So, you know, who knows? So that's really those two things. It's kind of the short version. And then the last video mixer is a Roland V4EX, and that is really kind of like the magic combinatorial soup for the whole thing. Right now we're compositing this image, and we've been compositing images with it this whole video. I also use it for basic keying. One of my favorite tricks is to take an image and negativize it and put it underneath another image to get more colorization and a more subtle, kind of softer colorization, like so. And it looks really good if you do it with the same image, because you kind of lose it makes some things kind of fade out and disappear, and it makes other things turn into other colors, kind of like that. There's a lot of things that I can do with the V4EX, and you will kind of always be seeing the V4EX in these videos because it is the last video mixer in the chain, and then it goes out to the Magic Recorder box, and the Magic Recorder box does the Magic Recorder bit, and that's how you get to see stuff. That's really the long and short of it. The rest of the modular system, if y'all care about it, I'll go through that. But it's all audio modules. It's all really like not at all exciting according to like the stuff that I see get mad likes on Instagram. It's all like kind of they're actually everything except for there's like a few modules by STG Sound Labs by our company, and I have an Earthquaker Afterneath in there that are newer, and the structure is newer, obviously. But a lot of this stuff is several years old. Some of these modules are 8 years old at this point, at the point of filming. So, yeah, that's kind of the long and short of it. That's my rig. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, all that happy horse shit. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you'll come back. Hope to see you again soon, and keep on choogling.